I recover so well. So I'm a very humble human being. Let's take a look at our map end stage. I hope that people watch all of this either between us or between Intero and Kicks and realize that all of this is literally just joking. Not so much with Kicks, because sometimes it doesn't get the references.
And Consulate again. That is interesting. Both these teams have played it once, and both were against Liquid. But one team did far better than the other. It was 5-7 for Team 1 and 0-7 for Red DevilS. So if Liquid are the barometer, yeah, Red DevilS not so great on this map.
And this is why you're here.
I was wondering. It doesn't say in my contract. It's just, you're here.
You're here. Have fun.
Yeah, good luck. What do you guys think? It's about right.
Yeah. I would even give it more to Team 1 if it weren't for their loss to Black Dragons last week.
Yeah, some of their struggles
7
as well.
They played Black Dragons on Bank, and they're like, what are you doing?
They're still a good team, though, and they've definitely had up and down days this season, though, so far. Just they've been more consistent than Immortals, at least. Well, I guess Immortals have been consistently not so great most of the time, but Red DevilS have also been consistently not so great. So Team 1 with a huge advantage here if Red DevilS doesn't change something about the way they play today, because, again, it hasn't been great, and they got 7-0'd on this map, so not putting up a single round. I hope they're planning to do something drastically different this time.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do. And again, we're playing Consulate, so it's a good way to kind of compare it to our previous matches. Please no 3 Consulates in one day. But 2 in a row is fine, because this way we can compare between them and see the strategies. Because between FaZe Clan and Immortals, it got really hectic, really fast on way too many rounds.
Yeah.
And the strategy was not really shining more often than not. Here for Team 1 Red DevilS, Team 1 should have a massive advantage in the game, but Red DevilS have the element of surprise.
That's true. There is that factor, but to be fair, that hasn't worked for them all season so far. I mean, the only thing they've been surprising is their own expectations, probably, in that they thought maybe they could win something. They've just been not winning hardly anything. Like, just... It's been rough. It's been rough, and I hate to see a team do consistently bad. A team that has up days and down days, sure, they belong in Pro League, but a team that's struggling like this, something needs to change. Luckily for them, this is only 7 out of 14 play days.
Yeah.
So they have room, they have time to change, and of course there's roster changes that come through during the halfway point as well.
Potentially, again, we're saying like potentially, maybe it's a possibility.
There will be roster changes. It's a question of how many and who.
Yes.
Because there's always roster changes. Come on. There's 8 teams.
Also, now in the new rule sets for this season, people have not checked those out. You can bring in CL players during the first half. I don't know if it applies to the second one.
There's some decent CL players. Yeah, I would imagine it applies to... Well, the second one, yeah, just because of the...
Because CL is live.
Well, if it's just before they start... I don't know. I mean, that's up to the admins, obviously, how that boils down, but maybe...
Right now, this is how it goes.
If the transfer window ends before CL starts...
It does.
Then I don't see a problem with it.
No, for transfer window, that's fine. But out of transfer window...
Oh, out of transfer window, yeah.
Like right now, you couldn't bring somebody in the previous season unless they were outside of Pro League and Challenger.
Probably wouldn't be great to do it outside of the transfer window, to poach when they're in mid-season now.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a great thing to do. That would be poaching in that case. However, the options are all on the table. And from what I'm told, there's still a lot of... growing talent in Challenger League around for Latin America. I mean, Team 1 literally are the definition of...
Well, I guess when you look at poaching, too, that's kind of what happened to Red DevilS, is they were playing a little bit better last season, and then VNX got stolen out from under him, and he's been doing fantastic on his new team. So it's like, obviously, he was a strong player, and, I mean, I hate to say it, maybe he was being wasted on Red DevilS, and now they need to find someone else to kind of fill those shoes, and they seem to not be able to find anyone just like that yet.
Yeah. So we're waiting for one more player to head in. Hopefully everything technically is working fine.
Yeah.
And then we can get our match started as soon as possible so we don't have to fill in with random stuff as we usually do, Devin.
Yes. I hope and I hope it's not like an internet connection problem, because those are always difficult down for Latin America. But I don't know if Red DevilS actually do a team house or not.
I don't believe
I'm not sure. Yeah, I would imagine they might not. Red DevilS has kind of jumped between teams a little bit too, so chances are they probably don't. have a team house, which is always good, at least in terms of internet problems, because when you have internet problems
Everybody.
for teammates, yeah, it's everybody. Then it's a team forfeit at that point.
Yeah, and
Something happened to Liquid before.
Yeah, you're not sure if in that case it's a storm or somebody's cat just walked in and kind of
Yeah.
took the power cord out. But let's actually take a look at the standings, just to recap things and have them all in your head. I know I like this. It's just sometimes you want to have it a bit bigger to focus on it. NIP right now is set at 19 points. These are all updated, as I was saying. NIP at 19 points, FaZe at 17, INTZ at 11. Of course, INTZ, you know, they lost their game against NIP. It wasn't really a great showing,
No,
to
but
say the least.
they've had a lot of good showings, at least.
And Liquid, even if they win today against Black Dragons, and honestly, I would say if, because Black Dragons have not been playing too badly. They're right under them with 7 points. That's on the other
1 point
side.
away.
So if Liquid today win, it's great. If they lose or tie, awful for Liquid.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying awful because that is the least I can say in that position.
Yeah.
You will have the matches for the second half are already out. And the very first day Liquid plays FaZe.
Yeah.
After the Rally Major.
That's not a great start.
Nope.
But things could change. They did have to replace Zig, and they've been trying to kind of adjust ever since then. And I feel like that's a factor to consider. You know, they had to deal with losing one of their longtime players, and then trying to adjust from that is going to take some time. So we could see similar to what happened with NIP, where they just really show up in the second half. You know, similar to what happened to them previously, I mean. Well, unfortunately, it sounds like the technical issues are continuing for this one player, so we're going to go to a...
Before we head to that,
okay.
I just want to mention one thing, a point. Liquid are in contention now for the during the qualifiers for the Raleigh Major. The LATAM qualifiers will be on July 21st, so on this Sunday night. Yeah. NIP are already sitting in that spot. Liquid are down below. The 4 teams that are waiting to move on are Black Dragons, Red Devils, INTZ, and Team 1. And they are playing against one another in that order to try and play Liquid, who then will have to replay against NIP if they're able to win their match, and then hopefully go to Raleigh, at least hopefully for them. So it's a tough fight, but both Liquid and NIP have a big chance of making it through.
Hopefully that doesn't mean Liquid saving any strats tonight, depending on the map.
Also, Liquid 1 week after that match are playing BR6 finals. So
they've got a lot upcoming if this doesn't work out.
Exactly. It makes even more sense for them to kind of limit themselves here, but you don't really want that.
I hope that's not the case, but it's we have to consider it as a possibility.
It is.
There's a lot of strategy, a lot of tournaments, a lot of events going on, and you cannot put your all into all of them at all times. You gotta choose your battles literally.
Exactly.
So, but
Captain Marvel can't save you this time.
We'll battle a break. So see you on the other side.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are close to resolving, at least the player is close to resolving his issues, and then we can head into the game ASAP. We'll remind you, it's Red Devils versus Team 1, and we're playing on Consulate again, our second Consulate of the day. It's better to have the rehost of the lobby now than during the game.
At least this is a map that both teams have played as opposed to the previous matchup where neither team had played it. So we have some record of how they played on here.
All right, all the players are in the lobby, so hopefully we'll be in the game within the minute.
Sure, they're itching to start. You know, you spend time warming up, you get ready, and then to sit in a lobby, start to cool down, and then...
I'm itching to start.
It's because you took those fleas, put them on you.
It was some hair. I'd like to see you clean.
Thank you.
I'll take care of you.
You're my little lint roller. All right.
This is what we do in our off time, by the way.
Yeah.
That's not true, actually, because he has like a reverse schedule compared to any normal human I know.
I'm on the NA schedule.
Yes, and I am on normal schedule. The correct one, the EU one.
All right.
Well, I have to embrace this at some point, right? You know, Intero embraced the whole like the eggplant emoji and the communism thing. I have to embrace the whole Maestro Kata thing plus the EU bias. I have to. It only makes sense. Look at C4. He embraced the whole salty thing, and now he's like literally the most successful French streamer in Siege.
He's just a big old salt shaker at this point.
Yes. Actually,
6 squad.
Great salt. But also, he has a charm in the game.
Really?
Salty Academy. Yep.
That's great.
He's making bank, dude. We should stop casting.
Interesting. Okay, you go ahead. I'll see you there.
Well, I already stopped, kind of. I mean, hosting.
Mostly during this match. No.
Wow.
IQ the first to ban though. Like this is a rare ban, and I mean,
You have to ban Valkyrie.
you don't have to, but you sure want to. At that point,
100%.
but
should.
Red Devils also have the last ban.
So is it going to be a Havana?
It's hard because IQ was the first ban, right? And so Red Devils have the last. Or I mean, the Team 1 ban has the last ban as well. So Red Devils have to decide now: do we ban like an Echo or Mira, and hope that they ban?
Because Team 1 are starting on defense, so they can just say, well, we don't want to ban the Valkyrie.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So Red Devils really has like a tough decision here.
See, you can. We're giggling like little girls, and it's still the ban phase. This is what happens when you kind of put two analysts in this position. At this point, I'm more analyst than anything else. And Amira,
all right, so now if for some reason Team 1 ban Valk, I'm going to be...
Please, you're starting on defense. Oh, they are. Is it Echo? Is it Echo?
It should be Echo.
It's Echo. Oh, yes!
A lot of good Echo.
The mind games! I love it.
We're assuming a lot, of course, about what they might have been thinking, but...
It makes logical sense what we're saying.
Sure does.
Chat, please. I always look at you when I need to confirm some logic. Could you please tell me that what we're saying...
That's what you look at when you need to confirm some logic?
Yes.
All right, well, that explains so much right now.
Wow. Could you at least tell us that what we're saying makes sense?
All right.
We don't really need it, but it's just confirmation.
Garage to start with, interesting choices. We saw a lot of console being preferred in the last matchup. So the Nomad not being banned this time will get played instead of the Gridlock. And Falls will 6-pick to... There we go, the Bandit. Interesting choice. I mean, it makes sense if you want to stop it, but I feel like the mute has been a little more consistent, but if you got both, hey, why not? I still would have liked to see... I mean, I still feel like you can use the mute to deny the Garage and still have spare mute jammers left over. Because they're going to get it open, especially if there's a Thatcher, and then you bring the Mozzie instead of the Bandit. But whatever, the Jaeger actually would have been great as well. Without a Jaeger on this particular site, should be pretty easy for utility to get dumped inside, but they're not bringing any smokes, unless I'm missing someone for some reason that can bring smokes, because I don't think Nomad can. So I got to imagine, well, no, they couldn't have been thinking it was Consulate first because they brought Thatcher Thermite. They just don't want to go smoke plant. They could even go for a rush backside plant. Could be interesting. I would love to see Red Devils just go straight up for the Visa rush.
Yeah. I mean, you have the Nomad, right? Spot, you can just hook it up.
So you can cover the plant a little bit better.
Yeah. Just remember that when somebody's vaulting out or it's a drop, don't put your Nomad charges there because it'll
Doesn't catch people midair.
Yeah, it will only catch them once they hit the ground. You have to have contact with the floor.
Yeah. To get knocked off your feet. One battery down? He's gonna try and trick it, really? I mean, I guess they're not bringing like a buck or sledge or anything to open the floor. But they have both the Zofia and the Ashe that can do it, not to mention probably breach charges on the Zofia. But Reduct, he was getting all those opening kills. You saw, he got greedy. He's trying to pad that stat still. Try and stay in those double digits.
Well, Reduct will be reduced to ashes by Ashe.
All right, that was better. You had to practice one earlier.
Yes. This is what I do. I don't actually rewatch fonts. This is all that I do.
Just sit at home and practice this. Well, it's not going to be a rush necessarily. They are trying to get into the building quickly, but they're certainly not going for the typical Visa rush. I say typical as in that's the only real rush, but although we have seen garage rushes, and they're not so great usually. But
all right,
Rise to take down Lev. So good trade. That's the Thatcher down, meaning Bandit will be able to put his batteries down now potentially.
I'm not sure if the EMPs had already been used.
They could have been. Ooh, Cypress getting out of that one's just slightly damaged. Not bad, but they're getting pressured back pretty heavily in all the spots they're trying to push here. No C4, he brought barbed wire, but Cypress does find a kill on Skadinia, and that's the mute down, so that is another C4 gone. Cypress taking a bit more damage, but still.
Oh, falls! What a shot! Even with the garage, that's a very awkward way of opening the garage. I have to say.
Too.
Good vault, but will it be enough? Yes, it will. Even taking damage from behind. He'll take down one, and Zion though. He's ready for the refrag. He's left all on his own versus Rise. And look at
that Evil Eye's watching him, and he only has concussion lifelines left.
At least he can concuss in the back, but he'll be watching. See the lifeline.
Right,
oh man, he's being. Oh, the headshot onto Rise. Zion is all still on his own. The Maestro's around the corner. He peeks away from him. Pre-fires into the wall, but here we are.
The melee.
Look it.
For the end. That was way closer than it should have been. What a round to start things off with. Red Devil certainly put in a good effort there. A nice attempt to clutch it, but some of the aggression, especially from Falls, working out for him. Playing that crazy spot on top of Black Car and jumping over onto Yellow Stairs. Luckily, he was able to at least get the one, and they weren't both sitting there stacked up to be able to counter him. I almost thought it was possible the clutch was going to come out there from the Zofia through the wall, too. Had one of those shots that he pre-fired through the wall actually hit the head, that would have been it. But being crouched, might have just ended up hitting the shoulder at most. Console now, as they've now won downstairs. And they go up for the same lineup pretty much from the attackers, except for now they're going to bring a Habana instead of a Thermite. Defenders bringing some similar lineup as well, although now they will have the Jaeger instead of the Bandit. And now they'll have both the Evil Eyes and the Black Eyes up here, along with those Mute Jammers. A little bit of referencing what was happening earlier in terms of play. I wonder how aggressively they'll play in admin, though, and whether or not it will be an attempted take from admin, because we saw a lot of play and counterplay with that in the last matchup.
No, it is actually. There's no dedication to admin this time around.
Yeah, utility-wise, doesn't look like it. I mean, they could throw a camera in there or something, but
it'll be the bare minimum.
Yeah. Now, the Thatcher is not really necessary in this. Yes, it can help with taking out the Evil Eyes, and I guess some of the Mute Jammers, but because you have Zofia and Ashe to be able to take out those Evil Eyes, chances are you won't really need it. But they didn't necessarily know what the site and everything was going to be for this. Though you have to imagine it was probably going to be console next.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was garage, so you have... Either way, you're going to be attacking the top floor, right? No matter what.
Absolutely true.
So...
You're probably going to be taking admin regardless.
Exactly.
Interesting air jab location there for them if they try and jump out the windows while he's on the rappel.
He has to drop on the floor and...
Yeah, he might just hit you on the way out.
I don't know if that actually would work the way that you'd like it to.
Yeah.
Might have been just maybe if it were closer to the floor, but you're going to be doing most of the shooting once you're in the air anyways.
Well, it looks like Lucid's going to play this aggressive enough to actually take out at least some of the drones.
Mm-hmm. Again, yeah, we haven't been talking about drone economy recently, have we?
We're mostly just jamming it.
Yeah. The mutes and A lot of the Aussie play that we've been seeing. No one in this round so far, in this matchup so far. Level still watching from the window in admin.
I like the sneaky play from Reduct as well, as they didn't realize he was in there because Lucan was doing all the pressure against them.
Oh.
So I'm going to have to take that out. Unfortunately, didn't clear the ADS yet, so...
Oh, the Nitro falls. Well done.
Surprise.
It's one eliminated. The Zofia, before she can do anything, only for a Nitro cell. Midi has complete control, though, connector room here.
All 3 air jabs have already been set up, but at least he still has the 2 flashes to try and help with that push if he goes to make it.
Gonna try to push player in yellow out. Scadini has taken a decent chunk of damage, and that's the air jab. That's 2 for free. Oh, man. Midi is reduct.
Donations.
What is going on?
At least Falls had gotten one first.
Cypress is going to try to move up. There's no drone to give him any information. This is kind of an odd way to approach this, but the flashbang will be thrown up, and Cypress will go on the repel. Is he going to go for the reverse repel? No, he's going to stay on in with Rise close up to him by the window.
Oh, Lev's going to take down Scadini in the meantime, and Team 1 actually falling apart this round. Midi and Lev both low health, but man advantage is definitely there, and that's more important. As I say that, though, Luke finally gets taken down. Or takes down Midi.
There you go. Getting a bit too ahead of ourselves.
It was exciting.
Definitely the case. Luke turning around here from a spiral staircase. All keeps being given away. He knows where his opponents are. They'll actually be walking down into the site. Luke at the wrong moment will turn around. There's one holding the window as well by the B bomb site. And it's left to find Luke. Fortunately, there's no Yokai drones to save the day. Rise will find a kill on Lev, but it's Velvet holding on. Find the round, Red Devils. Secure it.
So far between this match and the last, I'm starting to feel like maybe there's a little bit of an attacker bias at the moment, at least in Latin America on Consulate. Just because even though Red Devils lost the previous match, it was actually pretty close to them pulling it off, and they managed to win that round as well. So it seems like defense really struggling. They're not really able to deny things for as long as they'd like, not able to deny admin too much. There's a lot of utility on the attack as well. I mean, it just seems to be a struggle for them to be able to actually push back a lot of the attack. I mean, the air jabs definitely made a huge difference in that too. Catching 2, I mean, obviously it wasn't both by air jab, but catching the 1 and then just being ready for the second one, that was definitely the play for Red Devils. They were kind of gifted that in that round to an extent. I think that gave them the early advantage that was allowed them to kind of make some of the trades they were able to make favorably, still with the man advantage. So they're going to try console again here from Team 1. This time, maybe not going to jump out on balcony. Although, to be fair, they got a kill on balcony themselves with that C4 from Falls. Got to imagine he's going to be playing that spot again. But he probably won't fall for it the same way. Zion's going to be looking out for that if he still goes to play the balcony. But they definitely want to take him out there, so they still are going to be putting a bit of effort into trying to push that.
5 seconds.
Mini with 2. Velvet actually the only one without 2 kills, so not too bad. Well balanced between most of them on the team. Cypress careful on those spawn peaks. We actually haven't seen a lot of spawn peaks on Consulate these days. Speaking of 6 Quad, that used to be his MO. And we saw a lot of spawn peaks coming out, for example, from Rogue on Coastline. So there's still, you know, definitely spawn peaks in Pro League, you know. Just Consulate's, for some reason, just not having it. I mean, there is a Valkyrie in play as well, so I think they'd be a bit more in favor as I say that. Fall's going to check one of them. He sees the air jab get launched up.
He's just going to stay in here, Lukid. Hasn't really found the openers that he'd like.
All right. Denying at least some admin here, but it's gonna take time for Red Devils to get in there, just due to the fact that all the angles being held here by Team 1 are not angles that they can easily pick from the windows. And I think that's mainly what Team 1's counting on, is just being in positions. But unfortunately, they get forced out by the flash. They didn't really need to, but trading it on to Lukid from Red Devils. Nicely done, taking down that Jaeger early, although his utility already set up. But he's definitely one of the strong fraggers. This is a great opening kill for Midi, and of course now he's still left alive. To finish setting up any air jabs he might have not set up just yet. Nice
the Nitro!
But too slow.
Fortunately, but it'll keep one player alive. The Zofia will be able to stay in for just a bit longer. Velvet will have all of Skyros shot down thanks to the Maestro's Cadena. This is why you put an Evil Eye at the opposite end of that long hallway. Goes back to it, but it's already been disabled by the EMP, and the wall will be opened up by the Skyros. Velvet will find one kill, but it falls to the refrag, just playing all the way from the stairs here. He's got Reduct that has taken his position. Ash Charge will go in, but if you're the attacking side here for Red Devils, you don't really expect Reduct to be in the spot. Nitro will be ripped out from Falls, but Rise will find the kill on Cypress. Diffuser's on the floor, and a headshot from Reduct. He now dives on in and shuts down any available plays from the attackers. Rise takes down Midi, leaving Zion on his own. His entire flank watch has been eliminated. The Vanguard is out for Red Devils. There's only one left, and Falls pops up, finds the head, and gets the round for Team 1.
Good retry, and definitely much better defense that time. They played in a lot safer spots, didn't give them the easy picks away to Red Devils that time, and they made a huge difference because they let Red Devils push into them a lot more. I mean, they delayed for how much they could, but they didn't overextend themselves to the point where they were getting picked off just one by one individually, and it seemed like a good teamwork and crossfire as well coming out from Team 1. That was definitely a bit more what we'd expect from them, but so far they've only lost one round. As I said, though, both the first two rounds were pretty close. We will see them going down to lobby now that they've won both Garage and Console, although they could actually go back to Garage now, since that was 2 rounds ago, or 3 rounds ago, depending on how you count that. But, you know, curious to see how this shakes down, just because it's been somewhat seemingly attacker meta, but at the same time, Team 1 are at the point advantage right now. So Red Devil's going to have to work a little bit harder to try and take this one, because of course they have to take the top floor for this particular bomb site as well. But of course that also means Team 1's going to be a bit more spread out. So depending on how they go for the attack and how coordinated they are on it, they might be able to take it a little bit easier, as Team 1 can't push back as hard with less people up there. But that's assuming they coordinate. They are going to be bringing their somewhat generic utility in terms of the Thatcher and the Habana. Not sure the Thatcher is strictly necessary, but that will help if they try and go for a plant in the lobby, because they'll be able to clear out those goo mines. Also be able to help them take out, again, the Evil Eyes, but they also have the Zofia and the Ash for that. So, again, not strictly necessary, but I like Thatcher, and I think he's a very flexible operator. As I was trying to mention some of the other uses earlier, he's very useful, and sometimes you just can coincidentally, as you said, as a side effect, catch other gadgets.
Exactly. You're not really looking for those extra gadgets per se.
I don't believe you get the notifications, though, on which gadgets you've taken out.
No,
so at the same time, they don't necessarily know. You
can look like here.
Yeah.
You can, obviously destroying an Evil Eye or disabling it has a different thing to it compared to ADSs or any other bits of utility. So
yeah.
Here you are. We digress.
Well, not everyone knows that. You don't necessarily know which gadgets you've destroyed with the notification.
Yeah, you don't have that. Notifications don't.
Everyone knows about the kill feed one, but not everyone knows about that.
Yeah, notifications don't exist in Pro League for points and all of that. So
yeah,
you're kind of flying blind most of the time. The Maestro is not going to be spotted here. Zion knows that there's somebody playing in the bathroom, and he finds Cadena. Pre-fire and finds another Zion! Oh my!
Trade, and he certainly punished it.
Not sure if he had the info on the second one, but now Cypress finds one more. It's a 5v2 and barely anything done. 5v1 and it's all dead. Oh man, a flawless round from Red Devils. Where was this team last week?
It's like what we were saying about Immortals on the same map. And this is the team again that got 7-0'd on it. So, but that's only a 2-2 tie here. But that was definitely much more coordinated. They did a good job just finding the picks. Again, they had the ability to attack the top floor a bit more effectively because Red Devils had to or Team 1 had to split their defense up. They absolutely were able to take advantage of that. They could also do something similar a little bit on Garage, because chances are not everyone's going to be down in Garage, but it is also harder sometimes to hunt down 1 or 2 roamers between 2 floors. And they do have the Nomad at least to control, but they could also bring the Gridlock if they really want to shut down any potential roamers. They're going to bring the Thatcher and the Thermite. They snuck in the Thermite, but they know it's going to be Garage. So they're going to be going with the standard attack on that. Not going to be trying to do any kind of weird, crazy rush or anything. Assuming they'll get picked off early or something. It looks like we might need a rehouse, though, unfortunately.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Not sure what happened. Players are the ones usually calling it out, and they usually don't elaborate.
Attack
No.
I don't necessarily know why, but
That's what happened.
I'm just going to act as a little bit of a timeout for Team 1 to be like, whoa, 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 what just happened that last round, guys? Especially the pick from Zion. I mean, the first one was, okay, that was pretty good. He had a nice little angle. He was keeping it nice and low.
Pre-fire into the wall was like, okay, either he just pre-fired it because you're expecting.
I think it was a pre-fire because he was expecting it to be traded. He was expecting someone to try and punish him on that window because they know where that window is through the soft wall, and they're gonna think he's repelled up higher and go for a shot on him, right? Because you want to try and trade that out. But the fact that he got lucky on it, it was lucky.
And it worked well.
Yeah.
Just followed us around at the end.
It's like even if he knew someone was there, he got lucky on it being a headshot.
It was a lobby defense, yet all the kills happened from the top floor.
And that's what I'm saying. They could take the top floor so much easier when Team 1's a bit more spread out because it had been close slugfest to an extent.
It all turned to kills at the end. There wasn't like, okay, let's just take this part and then open this wall and then do this. It's just,
Yeah. Wow. It was one of those kind of let's shoot him from outside, a lot of kind of plays like that we can see on console
the
sometimes.
only position that the attackers really took was projector, but that's right after they killed the last two.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, we got this
Right
now,
before.
'cause- Yeah. You need projector, though, for that attack. So
Oh,
it
yeah,
makes sense
100%.
why you'd actually need to go in there and take that. But again, they also have that Nomad to be able to kind of stop a lot of flanks. That's the thing is, so you've got the Nomad or a Gridlock or whatever, you take the top floor from them, then you can also cut off their ability to rotate back up to it. And then all of a sudden, they're really struggling at that point. And if there's anyone left on that top floor, they're kind of stuck there by themselves unless they can rotate down safely. Luckily, there is like a, rotate through the admin hatch and things like that down to Visa, but a lot of the rotates get pretty predictable, and they certainly weren't going to rotate down, for example, to Piano because that room is controlled by Zion. And it's like you take from both sides or you have projector in that, and there's just not a lot of places for them to go at that point. So we'll see, though, of course, once things switch as well, whether or not Team 1 could do the same thing on attack potentially, but either way, it'll take a minute to recreate the 4 rounds that we've played out so far.
Yeah, they usually take longer than what you imagine.
It's a lot of detail to put in because you have to put
Exactly.
in what side it was, who won, make sure it's all correct because you certainly don't want to have to do a rehost of a rehost. It's a bit of work. I mean, it's a great feature, though. I'm so glad we have it because for those of you who don't remember,
Back in
we
the
used
day.
to have to have just the overlay kind of like pasted on top essentially and have to kind of manually update it with the score so it would display the correct score. That was not fun.
No, it was not. Doing it at home is one thing, doing it in studio is another.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you want to annoy a producer even more?
It's not fun. Not to mention, of course, you still either way lose all of the scoreboard in terms of stats. So that is unfortunate.
You lose it anyways.
Yeah, but of course people can manually track those. You can look at the kill feed, you can get some stuff like that. So you can always get those. I guess you'll lose out on assists on the scoreboard because you can't really track those the same way because those don't show up at the kill feed, but
That's why we show the scoreboard at the start of every round. That's it. We're ready to go. We're just going to check that everything is set up correctly.
Fingers crossed.
We'll start the game.
We've at least launched it, and
It's Consulate.
it is.
One thing.
Glad you
Round
got
5.
that. Yeah. Round 5.
It's good.
Just trickle that information.
Yeah,
in
it's
there that
like
you already know.
bit. It's like radio casting.
Yeah. It's just like it.
Like back in the day where you would sit back and stream audio through Real Player while you're...
Oh, I don't miss Real Player. I tell you what, that thing was terrible.
What's it?
It was terrible. It was like the QuickTime of Windows, but like the really worse version. Anyways, Velvet going to switch off again, do the exact same 6th pick. They didn't get too far into the round, so they probably didn't have a lot of intel for either team to work with, so I can't imagine it's going to be like drastically different in any way. They can't make any adjustments, though, if they were talking about it during the off time in terms of like thinking about how they wanted to play it differently. They could discuss it, take advantage of that as sort of a timeout. Of course, they have to make sure they all get into the lobby and get set up for it, but they can always use that to think about what they did, any adjustments they might want to make, anything they might have noticed. Attackers have the slight advantage in that because they're going to know potentially who the defenders are going to be. But at the same time, there's a lot less for the attackers to adjust because they haven't done anything yet, whereas the defenders can change up their reinforcements, their destruction, things like that. So 6 and 1 half another than the other kind of thing. So they can change up a little bit, but nonetheless, they can't change up the operators. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Or the site.
The second most important thing.
Heartbeat sensor deployed.
So Rise is going to be setting up on the pulse here and playing on the server. He's going to spot the players outside of admin. It makes a lot of sense. Hey, you want to go up, take control of admin, push down, push Team 1 away, and then control things through there. You just take it one step at a time, as they say, before you attack the basement. At a 2-2 here.
Ooh, what? That's early in the round. Reduct the opening
you
death instead of opening frag that time.
What are you doing? It's like, oh, guys, they didn't ban Valkyrie. Let's just peek with her every time and die. Yeah.
I guess. I hope you got your black eyes out because you got 2 of them right there on your face at that point.
He got slapped.
Slapped right off the game. Well, that is a good start for Red Devils, who have been playing decently well.
It's an odd thing for us to say at this point. A good start for Red Devils.
I know, and I don't think Team 1 have any strats to be saving, and unless I'm missing something they're going to be playing upcoming. So this
Not
is
playing
really,
a BR6.
This is really Red Devils just showing up. Team 1 making some slip-ups, some goofs, but it's the coordination for Red Devils that we're seeing. That's drastically different, in my opinion. They're playing a lot more coordinated. The communication might be better as well. Obviously, we can't hear that. And even if we could, I wouldn't understand anything they were saying.
It's not that difficult.
I mean, maybe I'd pick up some of the call-outs, I suppose, if they were, you know, like Latinish enough.
Have you heard Fnatic's call-outs for maps?
Yeah, Dizzle with the call-out reveals.
So I don't think
Qualifier
it matters if the language is a barrier or not.
Yeah. We can see a little air jab right there. Nice hiding spot for it.
Got a pre-fire here for Cypress as he tries to find one player from Team 1 peeking out from the A site. I believe that's Rez here on his pulse.
I like the approach there that Cypress was taking, attacking from the back, but in a way that he was kind of not overextending himself, just putting pressure, so they have to watch 2 sides. Velvet, unfortunately, hitting more of the car than a player. They're actually struggling a little bit here in terms of his health. He does no longer have any thermite charges, so he can't open any more of the wall, but doesn't really necessarily need to. Ooh, almost gets a pick there on the Falls. Wonder if Falls has C4 if he's still continuing to go with the barbed wire, but he gets a kill anyways with his gun.
Turns around and slaps Zion down, but Cypress on the refrag. It's just a kill in yellow. Expecting Nitro Cell here, the Ash will fall back. But I don't believe there's any left. Maybe one for Skadinia. You heard one being used just a bit ago. Lookit will find one on the midi, but Lev with a refrag on Rise. Oh, Lookit holding on the rotation from Yellow Stairs.
10 seconds to go.
It's one eliminated by Skadinia, leaving Lookit on his own here to fight it up close and personal. But already on yellow, it's Skadinia to come down and finish off Velvet. The round has been saved.
Back
Team
and
1.
forth and back and forth. Team 1, then Red Devils, then Team 1, then Red Devils, then Team 1.
Then Red Devils.
At this rate?
Then Team 1. Go with me. Come on, it's ping pong.
Yeah, well, that eventually gets to a tie situation.
It's like casting a game of tennis, like whack, 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 whack.
Well, speaking of wacky, Archives Tellers.
Yep. Wacky races. Whoa.
Little Muttley, the operator.
Yes.
I wasn't going to try and do the impression because I felt like I would fail it miserably all of a sudden. Capital.
Don't worry, that's my job.
All right, let's set you up and watch you fall. Zion, though, switching off the operator, he's actually been playing fairly effectively on that Zofia. Well, somewhat effectively. He's actually lost a few fights as well, but that 2K that he got from the window of console made up for a few of them in my mind. But he will be bringing out the Capital. Now, I got to wonder,
Many bombs as they can.
does he know what the site will be? Because I got to imagine he's expecting it to be lobby and hoping to use that smoke coverage for a plant, potentially. But nonetheless, it's actually going to be fairly effective in some ways for planting in Tellers. Because he can use the Firebolt to actually cut off that rotation hole that comes around, as well as the smoke to cover it. I mean, I like that for utility-wise. However, you don't necessarily need the Capitao in terms of like getting around ADS's. Chances are you'll probably have them cleared out of there, especially with the Thatcher. You can clear out pretty much the whole room pretty easily. So probably not a huge factor, but again, I don't think they necessarily knew what the bomb site was going to be. Is usually don't predict the team to go to this, which is the whole reason they go to it.
I think at this point, Lookit was like, guys. I know we keep losing our Valkyrie every single round by peeking the door in Visa. Why don't we just move the site there?
Yeah, so I can peek it and then die on site.
I mean, Lookit was playing the Maestro before.
To be fair, it doesn't really matter because it's their turn to lose this round, right?
guess, historically speaking. So we'll see if the 4th round can be put on the board here for Team 1. It's the final round here in our half. You see, it's round number 6. It's up there.
It's up there.
Numbers.
Yeah, so at least the round numbers get put properly because of the way the rehosts are done, but...
So, Lukid will be playing in around the side. Of course, you can just rotate pretty easily. Usually your rotations are pretty well defended, but you have to take control of Garage. Make sure that there's not pressure being put on you from there. That's why you see the Mozzie in there, plus double reinforcement on the garage door itself. There's only the Hibana being brought up here by Red Devils, realizing the Thermite was not really doing too much, but oh, good control on the service stairs, and you can hold on just by exactly what the Nomad is doing. Reach charge, and just look all the way down.
He's definitely doing a good job trying to hold up here as best he can, but needing to cover these stairs manually, I mean, he's got the air jab somewhat for that. There's not a lot of locations they can go to, especially if he tucks that away in a spot they can't see, like maybe even on the back of the statue, actually. But either way, Lukid actually trying to play for maybe even for a C4 toss up here, depending how he's planning to play this. But I like the idea, because of course you have to guard the archives as well, although most of the time the plant comes down to Tellers. But Cypress taking down the Elysian. So as I say that, the right after still gets a little revenge goo.
Yep, EMP is going to be thrown in here, and
Ooh, up on the desk.
Oh, you have to be really careful with your nitro cells in there. And they are very difficult to hit, and in fact, nothing will be thrown out. Or Velvet is down on the floor as we speak. Rises as well. Zion will move in. The top is Falls. We'll find Velvet, eliminate him, but Falls is taken away by Cypress, who's just moving down and taking control of the locker area. But up to move up and pre-firing, but unfortunately the UMP is just not strong enough. Too slow rate of fire. Midi, Zion, and Lev will find the last 3 of Team 1.
Well, it was their turn. It's only fair.
So 3-3 at the half. Tight game so far, but we had the same thing in a previous matchup, and we saw how that ended.
It's true, and both of these matchups are ones that should have been more one-sided than they were. That being said, though, yeah, like you said, after the switch around, we did see FaZe kind of run away with it to an extent. I mean, they still lost some rounds, but it was definitely much more favored. And like I said, it's seeming to be a little attack favored to an extent, so I feel like maybe we'll see that from Team 1 here. Maybe we'll see them kind of running with it. Zion possibly bringing the first alibi here, but I had a feeling that was going to happen. The 6th pick to the castle, and again, the 6th pick from the Hibana to the Thermite, but guess what Red Devils are doing? They're starting on Archive Stellars, just to throw them off. Thermite, not incredibly useful on this particular site. Still could get some use out of him, but definitely not a must-bring. Although, I don't know if really Hibana would have been huge difference either, depending on whether or not hatches were reinforced that you might want to get, like, over top of Visa.
I wonder what Red Devils will change in this round for themselves. The Thermite will come out from Team 1. I don't believe that they're expecting the site, to say the least. Similar thing to what we had for Devils, and the Capitao ended up just working in general. Capitao, just every time we talk about Capitao, it's like, he's just a really good operator. So when you can play him, maybe you should.
Maybe you should. Certainly, like you said, he gets banned enough that it's like, when he's not being banned, it's like he's banned for a reason, so bring him, right? He's just so strong at the moment, especially now that the LMG is more viable.
Yes. Oh, that. It's so weird to say this, but just the addition of that site,
yeah,
with the introduction of Gridlock, just changed everything. It made him. He already was very viable with the 249 with the way that it was before, and we've seen the LMGE and the way that it was used by a lot of players. If you remember back in the day with Livin and the way that he was running the LMGE for the Zofia. But now you give a site like that to Capitao, and you're like, well, guess I'm always using the 249. Sometimes we'll use the 308, but it really depends. It's a choice. Choices are always good in a privileged. Lukid will find one, though. Privileged position for Team 1 as they now have control of the site. Lukid, the flick onto Zion.
Wow.
Elbow nitro from Velvet.
Oh, what a turnaround.
On the rotation, the Capitao crossbow would actually playing against Lukid here. The camera to be eliminated. And fire in from below. Level finds Skadinia, dropping the diffuser on the floor. Lukid will have to ace in the round here to win it out. He baits the Jaeger out of position. Midi will take a bit extra damage. Second grenade to be lobbed right in his face. His nitro cells below are just hitting bodies, but not the living player, to say the least. Castle barricades are up and around everywhere, and you see all of those kill holes that have been preset by the defenders. And Red Devils have a huge advantage. It's that Pulse, Velvet, can do so much work. It's finally cameras will be taken away. Lukid will have to watch out for any play from below. He'll fire into the Pulse. He'll take a bit of damage. Oh no, he's looking away at the last wrong second. Midi finds the kill. Free one for Red Devils.
Well, that was certainly an interesting round. I mean, Team 1 pretty much fell right into the trap there, thinking they had taken the site early, and he actually did a good job taking it with the 2 kills that he did to get in there after losing 1. So only one of those was a trade, but nonetheless, that was a impressive play from Red Devils. Good use of the C4s. I mean, yeah, the later one's not so great, but getting the 2K with that first one was nicely done, and that certainly helped a lot. Velvet, can't imagine going to stick on that Frost pick, but you never know. Sometimes they'll use that to cover a different 6th pick. You know, a really obvious one, but no, of course not. Consulate will be, again, without the Valkyrie ban. Of course, it's going to get played here, especially on this map. Red Devils actually a point ahead for the first time, as previously they'd just been keeping it tied. So now they finally have advantage, and that was, I think, somewhat catching Team 1 off guard by going to that bomb site, which was kind of funny because they literally just played it, but on the other side on attack. So they said, you know what? It's good for us on attack, and we'll do just fine on defense, because Team 1 got a little bit greedy, a little overzealous going in there. We will see a Doc, interestingly enough, come out for this, but can be pretty effective at some of the long angles they can be fighting here, especially if they're playing in connector, or playing, especially the way that Cypress is playing with like some little kill holes to shoot through connector all the way towards the Visa top stairs. That's definitely a nice angle you can place. You don't have to be directly in connector. Of course, you guys got to watch out for your back, but he's actually going for a spawn peek first.
Oh, they knew about it.
It.
They knew about it.
That's why they put that umbrella there.
Is that
for when it rains?
Bullets. When it rains bullets?
Yep.
Are you a security advisor?
Yes.
All right. Well, not that kind of security.
Insecurity?
Not that Reddit post again. Well, Lukid will drive his drone up through yellow, but he won't find kills off of it. Scadinia, well done. That's the Legion picked off.
So now not only did he potentially take out a Gumine, now he made sure there's going to be no more.
Why was the Legion peeking through there?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
He decided the balance was off. Now Team 1 needs to win this round. So
he was spotted, and then he's like, oh,
hey.
I will go.
They'll push me, so I'll peek it.
Mute Jammer is going to be taken away here, and the Doc is playing at the top of the yellow stairs. Usually he's shotgun in this position. You see all the drones are on the floor.
Littered there. There's one right there as well. This is like a drone meeting place at this point.
It's a graveyard.
Certainly, it's just... It's too bad Red Devils don't have some kind of like Thatcher on defense to take all those out. Mozzie just shot down there. It's too bad it can't catch more than one in its field. Oh, God. Could you imagine like a CAD kind of thing?
Oh, Lord. Imagine throwing cotton and just zapping all of them. It's so good.
Yeah, well, they can finally drone up now that the Mute Jammer's taken care of. They are going to get some idea of the positions. As I say that, Falls gets one of them as well. So finally, huge advantage here for Team 1. Taking down too early. A bit of damage on Luke, but Scadinia makes sure that it's not going to be any more.
Rise in the rotation from below, but it's Team 1 to take a flawless round, a 4-4. Yep, we said it.
Back and forth and back and forth. I guess Red Devils had to win that first defense because Team 1 had won their first defense. So that was the way to mirror it properly, I guess. Oh, boy. This is not the way I expected this match to go. It's been quite the day, but that's what I said about Latin America. Tends to surprise occasionally. Garage for their first time here. They could go console again or even lobby, but nope. They're going to try Garage. They're going to bring the Mozzie and no Maestro instead of the Castle. Now, if you're going to trade someone out for the Castle, I don't know that the Maestro is the one to do. The Maestro is so effective on Garage, and just as an operator in general when he's not banned, Castle, I just don't think you're going to get a ton more value out of. I mean, even when Castles were slowing down Lukid, he was still managing to rotate around just fine by just opening up any of the walls he needed to and rotating around through those. So, I don't know. I gotta question the choice, but we'll see how Red Devils play it out. Maybe Zion will have something up his sleeve. And they are going to go with the Kaed instead of a Bandit or a Mute. As far as denying drones, at least they will have the Mozzie for that. I got to imagine a lot of his little... I was going to say electric claws. I mean, the pests might go upstairs to help the roamers up there play.
Seconds left.
As opposed to, you know, because downstairs, I don't think... I mean, outside of the drone hole, or maybe the yellow stairs door, I don't think you're going to get a ton of use in terms of them downstairs. But another early kill. This time on the Lucan from Velvet.
All right.
So he does peek out successfully this time.
So this is DevilS round, right? We're looking at the math.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And the refrag.
Well,
what are you...
Or not.
What are you trying?
Lights out.
Stop!
Max.
In the name of the law!
Let him know. Get on the spectator chat somehow and tell him.
What's stop in Portuguese?
I don't know. They need to learn it. Well, they are going to start getting the wall open now, and that's a good start. Air jab's getting set up as well. Hopefully they can drone in safely without any pests there. They are going to get one down, at least yellow stairs. Now they know Lev's there, and unfortunately cannot hit the drone.
Stop is
A lot of
parar.
runners.
Bomb located
Thank
So,
you.
by
pare, please, for the love of God.
The way they are playing this is just odd to say the least.
So, Redox is low on HP here for Team 1. You hear an air jab going off, but Rise is unsure of where that was. Skadinja will find the kill on Lev.
attackers to drop the bomb diffuser.
Temperance will hear himself up, but Zion on the refrag. It's the 3v3 as Rise will find one. Walks right into the line of fire of Cypress. That's Falls. Cypress is last alive. Got two to deal with, and Diffuser on the floor. He vaults up, but Skadinja finds him. Team 1 break the cycle.
Yeah, he ruined it. He didn't clutch it. He broke the pattern. Now Team 1 have to win. It's over now. The pattern broken. And that's how it is a lot of times when there's a pattern, the team to break it not only is a point ahead, but also tends to continue that using their lead. But as we go to lobby now, again, they could go to tellers if they wanted to, but I can understand why that's okay. They're going to. Whew. All right. I mean, they're gonna. I gotta imagine that Team 1's gonna be expecting it to be in lobby.
Not telling.
And to be fair, this is the only bomb site they've won so far. But I feel like maybe this is doubling down on 2 round in a row loss with maybe another one. I don't think your C4 play is going to win you this one. They might just clear out from below this time and go for a plant. I think teams don't do that enough. I always remember when this was first a bomb site, G2 just straight up rushed downstairs and planted. You can only cover so much from above. Like, there's only so many angles downwards that you can really take control of the bottom floor pretty easily. And once they rotate down, they can't rotate back up. So you have them rotate down, and then you have people take over their spots from above, and then also pressure downward once the defuse is planted.
Yeah, this is a problem for Team 1 when they assaulted the site a couple of rounds ago. They had like almost no hold on the top floor.
Yeah.
And just try to rush in from Visa.
Yeah, so rush in the basement instead.
Actually, that's a much better strategy. Because in that case, you're at least eliminating the biggest threat to you, the Pulse, and any other ops with a much wider site to plant on.
Yeah.
Solved it.
Solved it.
Next.
All right, well. Pulse is definitely getting some work cut up for him right here. Picking up 3 already.
By attackers.
If they know this is the bomb site, which I imagine they do, they're going to expect a C4 potentially even on the floor right there, but they just run it anyways.
Oh, no.
This is not the play again.
Just learn from EU, man. Skadinja will dive into the site. There's one player on it. And finally will be eliminated. Where do you go and plant? Actually, Lucan will find one kill. But the same as before. Velvet with an easy double nitro. And he's just going to be watching. He's got a 10-14 as well to fire in from below. An unusual strategy and a very, very bold one. But the diffuser will be set. Is there a nitro left here for Lev? No, Midi actually finds one kill. Rides on the refrag and the air jab is set. Can you set another one? Yes, you can. You already dropped one, and Rise turns around the corner to find Lev as off the rush it works out.
The one thing they did smart is taking advantage of the castle barricades. The upside of rushing that is there's only a limited amount of people that can be there, that can rotate, because they have the castle barricades. Unless they take them down, they can only rotate through the doorway, the small doorway in the office in the hole. Yeah. Yep. So you kind of know where they're going to be at that point. So that is the upside. But there's the C4. Just bring an IQ and spot him at least. Oh, IQ's banned. My bad. Do it anyways. I don't care. I won't say anything if you won't. All right, finally to lobby this time. Realizing that was not the play the second time around. They will bring the castle again. This time makes a little more sense for this site to an extent. And they still have the Maestro in doing so. But it's match point here. So Team 1 looking to take this.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
I could see it the way it's been going, go to 7-5. But I don't know. It's probably a 7-4 situation. Again, though, a lot of these rounds have been just skirmishes and like way closer than they should be. Team 1 just playing fairly undisciplined, and Red DevilS actually playing a bit more disciplined than usual, although still being a little bit frag heavy. It was good coordination last round in terms of getting the C4s off, at least the fact that they're still pulling that off.
Located a bomb.
But that's also a little bit of a slip on Team 1, but they were really just about getting dedicated to getting that plant down. And since they were able to get up on the furniture, mission accomplished. Skadinia up there with 8, although you got to keep in mind, this is since the rehost, so that was starting at round 5. So all those points, you got to imagine the points from the first round added to them.
So now, Red DevilS, how did they recover from this one? They lost 2 rounds.
Peek out more, probably.
I mean, that's what Velvet is probably trying to do here.
Certainly thinking about it.
He's going to look out, and he's going to be spotted. Skadinia, a free kill with no damage done, but Midi
All right,
on the opposite window.
At least there's that. They did take out the Thatcher, but...
Defenders left.
Oh, Red Octa's
double
waiting.
down.
Hello?
They just want to be over. They want to be done.
Welcome to Latin America. 3 kills, 4 kills.
They want
under a minute.
They're ready to be over for the day.
You and me both, buddy.
They're just gonna jump outside. Let's finish this. Let's just all knife party outside. Right. Let's just settle it.
Here we go. Zion. A lot of damage done as he takes a hail of bullets from the Visa entrance. Lev's the last man on the site itself, at least on piano. You don't want to impact yourself down.
Yeah, with such little health left on Zion, if Lev doesn't go really big, yeah, I love this.
Do it.
He'd definitely kill himself. In the
Do it.
His ragdoll body would just flop down.
I pay good money to see that. Like $2. Oh, falls, finds the headshot. Zion taken away. Lev is last. He's on his own in piano. He's got to hold off against 4. Luka turns around, dispatches him, and ends DevilS suffering.
What did I say? Attacker sighted at the moment, it seems, for Consulate, based off these last 2 matches and the fact that teams that shouldn't be doing as well, being Immortals and Red DevilS, both started on the attacks, and it made the games seem a lot closer than they were because of that. So, the better team in this case comes out on top with a 7-4 scoreline.